Judge me by my size, do you?
Dude, wrong franchise.
Use the Force, Kirk!
Hello and welcome to another episode of TrekHammer, the show where we're going through in quick review format every single episode of Star Trek from the start right to the modern stuff. Today we're talking about the Series 1 original series episode, the Corbomite Maneuver. Okay, so this one is one of my personal favourites because it works on many levels. It talks about a lot of different things, like judging people by what they look like, judging people based on false assumptions, based on a short first encounter, and giving Captain Kirk the chance to show that he is a thinking captain. Literally, when we meet him with Gary Mitchell in Where No Man's Gone Before, he's described as a stack of books with legs. He's that kind of character, but we always see him as an action man. But he's not. He's a thinking man. And it really shows in this episode. So, it's a very enclosed episode. It's actually quite interesting. There are very few sets. Most of it is contained in the central part of the bridge, which causes it to be quite a claustrophobic episode in many ways. And we are introduced to a new character. Now, we've got this guy, he's the navigator, and he's having a lot of trouble. He's basically not fit for the position that he's in, and it's starting to hit on him, which raised a very interesting question when I was watching it, because Kirk had to go through the Kobayashi Maru. As a command cadet, he went through the no-win scenario to learn about fear and to learn that not every action has a good consequence. Sometimes you're unable to cheat death. Didn't this navigator guy go through that? He's wearing command gold, but he's falling apart from stress and the idea that they may not get out of this particular encounter in one piece. They might die. So, surely he's gone through the Kobayashi Maru. He's wearing command colours. But maybe that's something that needs to be discussed at Starfleet Command, because I've been thinking this for a while, and it kind of shows in this particular episode that the no-win scenario in a simulator doesn't prepare you for real life. The idea that
it's supposed to let you experience fear. It's to show that you might die. Your decisions could kill everyone. All of that.
But it's a simulator. We have that every day in computer games. If I wander into a computer game and some guy's holding a gun at me, my response is probably to open fire or to dodge. If that happens in real life, that's a very different situation. And that's what I'm talking about here. This guy has gone through the simulator, probably. We assume he might have transferred to command afterward, but we're assuming that he's gone through the same training that Kirk has. But he is holding up so differently, so wildly differently to Kirk, that it's obvious the Kobayashi Maru doesn't work. Of course, at this point, the Kobayashi Maru scenario doesn't actually exist because even the Federation hasn't really been solidified as an idea in the show yet. Never mind all the training that we get to see when we get to see Starfleet Academy later in the films. But it is a very interesting discussion, probably one that we should have in more detail in another episode. So why are they in this situation? Well, they've met this giant sphere, which, am I alone in thinking looks an awful lot like the sphere that Q creates in Encounter at Farpoint? Was that the reference? It's not entirely clear from Encounter at Farpoint that we're meant to think at first that it might be another encounter with the First Federation, which is what the sphere from this one comes from. But it's a very interesting idea, and again, we'll talk about that when we get to Encounter at Farpoint. So we encounter this big sphere, and it's blocking the path. No one's gone this far out before, so it's the first encounter. And as a result, technically, first encounter protocols are in place, but it's a warp-capable society, obviously. So it's a little bit iffy on what the rulebook is. And again, the Federation isn't properly established by this point in Star Trek, so all of that's up in the air as well. Kirk goes in and tries to discuss things. They don't go off well. We eventually get to see this kind of monstrous shape as the person on board the ship. They're very aggressive. They're going to destroy Kirk's ship, and they're not taking no for an answer because of all the things that have gone wrong in this scenario. So, Basically, this is first contact gone really badly. And as a result, Kirk has to think his way out of this. And he does it in a very interesting way. He bluffs. He bluffs quite strongly. Essentially, he goes all in. He's got nothing to lose at this point. The ship is going to be destroyed if he doesn't do something. So he goes all in and says, all right, do it. Death means nothing to us. We've got a device on this ship that will destroy you. If you attack us, you will be destroyed too. We're prepared. Are you? And he basically pushes them to the brink and says, yeah, you're going down with us. If you fire, you're dead. We won't have to do anything. You're going to kill you. It's a great maneuver. I love it. It's perfect Kirk. The thinking man who is prepared to put everything on the line to save his crew. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's perfect Kirk. And as a result of this, the First Federation backed down. And then we get another twist because they are still testing the Federation, it turns out. I love the fact that there's two federations here. So
The First Federation and the other Federation.
yeah. Star Trek. Listen, you don't adhere to the one Steve limit, let's put it that way. So this ship decides, all right, we're not gonna destroy you. We're gonna take you to a planet and maroon you there as our prisoners. You'll be perfectly fine, but you're not allowed to leave. We're gonna destroy your ship, and then we're going to maroon you. Well, they're actually the other way around. So they get towed along, and Kirk decides, to hell with this, and manages to break away from the tractor beam. At which point, the ship that was tractoring them, the little one, instead of the big one, the little one that broke off, it suddenly has problems. Its life support can't keep going. It's overtaxed itself. So Kirk decides, all right, here's our chance to show that we're good, actually. And he goes back and rescues the crew, or at least tries to, from this little ship. At which point, it's all revealed to have been a personality test. Are you really all right, or are you really a bunch of gits? But because they came back, oh, you're friendly. Right, we see. They've been testing the Federation the whole time. It's not a good test. As personalities go, this will probably work with someone like the Federation, who are nice, and who want peace above everything else. They'll sacrifice anything for peace. But here we are. If they tried this with the Klingons, everyone would be dead by this point. I'm just going to put that out there. So they go back, and because of their generous nature, Baylock actually shows himself for real. And he's not this weird-looking monster. That's just a puppet that he uses to try and unnerve people. He's actually about 2 foot tall, maybe 3 foot, and looks like an adult baby. And he offers them a drink. They do a cultural exchange. The guy who's been falling apart on the bridge gets left behind with the First Federation as their ambassador on a exchange of officers, which only seems to be, can I dump this git on you and see if he sorts himself out? Like, Kirk, what are you doing, man? But apparently it works, and then they all go off happy ever after. It's a great episode because it turns and twists at every stage. It ups the ante and ups the ante, then it switches over to something else and ups the ante again, and then it has the final reveal. It's twists and turns all the way. Really, really good writing. Excellent acting, actually. The entire thing is a really enjoyable episode. And it shows off Kirk and Star Trek at its finest. You know what? I think we've got a solid Warp Factor 10, Mr. Sulu, for this particular episode. It is that good. Guys, if you have never watched Star Trek the original series before, and you want one that's a good one to start with, just to see what it's all about, I would actually recommend giving this one a try. It's a very interesting episode, and I think you'll like it. Okay, that's all I've got for today, so I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, remember to click that like button, share it with your friends so that they'll know a good show when they see it. And yes, we're back now. I've had a cold. You can probably still hear it in my voice a bit. I actually was laid up with a flu, which is why we haven't had any episodes except for Lower Decks, where I've basically had to put one out just to keep my hand in, you know, and not fall too far behind on that series. But we're back now, so hopefully Monday and Friday for original series, going through from the start to the modern episodes with TrekHammer, and then on Thursdays we'll finish off Lower Decks. we'll see how we go from there. But until next time, please do leave a comment about what you thought about this episode, because I'd love to have a conversation with you about Star Trek in the comment section. And for now, I've been Zoe Kirk Robinson. You've been watching TrekHammer. Live long and prosper. I'll see you later. If you like the show, please consider supporting me on Patreon. It really does help create future videos. That's patreon.com/Zoe Kirk Robinson. And I've got an extra special thanks going out to Chief89, Sam Yates, Retro Mickey82, Mo Henry, and George Botterini. Thank you so much, guys.